So if you guys remember James, you know that in our last roll, he got the best of me many times. However, in today's roll, we're gonna be in Nogi and we're gonna get our revenge, hopefully. Make sure to stay to the end to see if I'm able to assert my dominance with a crazy flying triangle. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the match. Alright guys, so to start off the night, we are going to threaten James with one of the strongest guards in today's Jiu-Jitsu metagame. Now that he's severely threatened, it's time to attack. Alright, so I grab a 2-on-1 wrist and James tries to attack a single leg. I block this by putting my forehead right in the middle of his neck. After this, I grab a double wrist grip again. On top of good head positioning with my forehead against his ear, I'm in a very dominant position to attack James. I reach out for a single leg, but it's negated by a half sprawl and an exposed overhook because my elbow disconnected from my ribs. If I had maybe circled to make him step with that leg, then dove in and attacked the shot, it would have had a much higher % chance to finish. After some wrestling exchanges, I decide to finally pull guard. I do this by first hanging on his head to compromise his posture and maintain inside position of both my legs to open up the ability to transition to butterfly, single X or X guard. We have a short conversation about how cute he looks today, and then as I go to underhook his leg, he goes for a disgusting wrist lock. I keep my wrist flat and frame him away. As James disengages slightly, I maintain a connection by grabbing behind his knee and move into shin on shin. I use my left hand to drag his knee forward, making his foot light. I then kick up my left leg to move into a single X guard, or at least attempt to. Things could have gone better on this entry if I had fallen more towards my shoulder instead of my back, as well as used that frame to push and off-balance James. Because these details weren't present during my execution of this entry, James maintained his balance and was able to sit back onto an attack of his own. I can feel James's left arm threading around my right bicep, so I defend the oncoming armbar by pocketing my hand behind his knee. However, that later proved to be a grave mistake. I try to staple his left leg to the ground using my right leg so I can begin to extract my arm. James forces me to deal with the top leg by using it as a frame to push me away, causing me to give up control of the bottom leg. This allows him to freely move his hips and work to finish the attack. I try and use my knee to begin to pressure James, but he frames, locks his feet up, and crunches down on my arm to finish a disgusting bicep slicer. Okay guys, so beginning of round 2, I'm gonna go ahead and pull guard again. We're gonna play a quick game of patty cake with my feet. And I'm gonna sneakily try to engage into a reverse de la Hiva, but he steps through to avoid the guard. And now I'm actually in quite a predicament. James has 2 wildly strong ankle grips. Something recently I learned from Danaher is when your opponent positions themselves to push against your pull, they will have a high success rate to pass your guard. In this position, James is fighting my ability to pull my knees to my chest by pushing my ankles, giving him a really good advantage. Luckily, I was able to maintain a connection before he secured these grips. I used this to drag myself into a K-guard by socketing my foot along his hips and threading my right leg out of reach and hiding it behind his knee. I'll then start by using my outside leg to chop his knee and off-balance him. Notice how I keep my knee line away from his hip line to prevent any fast knee bar attempts. As he turns, we fall into 50-50. However, his heel is very exposed. I then lock on to one of the most dangerous submissions in the game. Now boys, it's the time we've all been waiting for. Revenge. Unfortunately, we'll have to keep waiting. James strips the grip and heel slips out of the submission. We then disengage 50-50 because it's lame and not fun. Now in open guard, I grab a 2-on-1 wrist grip and use this to try to get under James's hips. In the midst of this, I accidentally almost lodge my big toe up his bum. I continue on the 2-on wrist grip to shoot a single X guard. James peels my foot and drops his hips on me to deny me the guard. James then tries another bicep slicer, but I'm aware of it this time and I block the wrist. He'll then try to transition into mount, but I catch him in half guard. In this position, I'm looking to keep my elbows tight to deny him any type of underhook or overhook. I'll use a hip and elbow escape to off-balance him, and as he bases out, I'll grab an underhook. I start to work my way up to his back and secure a tight waist. As I go for the tight waist, he looks for another wrist lock. I distract him by grabbing a seatbelt grip and start to work at attacking his back from the turtle position. I try to sit into a back take, but he easily defends this. He then moves back into turtle and then fakes a Granby roll to get me to roll forward, and he's able to escape the back attack. As I come up, I make sure to pressure his head to keep James down. He falls onto his back and I move into headquarters by stuffing both ankles and driving my right leg deep into the pocket of his knee. I notice his inside leg is beginning to extend away from his chest. I start to prepare to sprawl over it, but James threatens an underhook, forcing me to either reset my base or risk getting swept. I make a mistake and allow my left leg to drift too close to the playing field. A good headquarters position normally has the outside leg back, and your inside leg is pinning your opponent's hips to the opposite side. So as James goes to scoop under my leg, I need to address this immediately. I start by controlling his right leg to prevent it from hooking onto mine. I then wrap my left arm around his waist and drop my hips to deny him entry into a guard through his underhook. I then backstep over his right leg to secure a pass. He tries to lock up a sneaky triangle, but I manage to brush his legs off and move into side control. James then starts to lock up into a weird head and arm. He's gonna use this to relieve pressure, create space, and then end up reversing the position as he moves into top side control. Because he has control of my left arm, he easily moves into mount, and I tap to what I believe is a pec slicer. There's only 10 seconds left on the clock. Not only have I not gotten revenge from last time, but James has also submitted me twice with some really disgusting submissions. It's now or never. I grab an overhook and look to control the opposite wrist. I pass his wrist to my overhooked hand, giving me control of both of his arms. I'm able to maintain my composure against this foot sweep attempt, and now I see a beautiful opportunity. I throw up a flying triangle. So unfortunately, a gust of wind blew by, which knocked me out of focus, but if it wasn't for that, I surely would have finished this triangle. James then moves straight into passing. He attempts to work a double unders variation, but I'm able to keep strong hips and prevent him from passing. He then moves into a stack pass, but I control his knee and thread my left leg over into K-guard. Unlike last time, however, I leave my knee inside his hip line and it costs me. James falls down onto a knee bar, but being the man he is, he submits me with a toe hold. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments, what is your favorite low percentage submission? Wrist locks, toe holds, or flashy flying triangles might not be the front runners in today's metagame, but they definitely have their moments here and there. Anyways guys, in the next video you can expect another thriller at TFTC, so if you like this sort of content or want to see more of James, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.